What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we're going to be talking about X-Men number 26, written by Jerry Duggan, with art by Javier Pena and Jim Toe, and color by Marte Garcia. Part of me wondered how long Jerry Duggan would make us wait before the confrontation between Firestar and Shadowkat, but he didn't make us wait long. I'm gonna go and tell you right now, Shadowkat now knows that Firestar is an Orcus mole. She knows the full story that Jean Grey had put Firestar up to this, that she had implanted the memories in Dr. Stasis to make him believe that Firestar was working with them all along, and that she was a secret hire on that he brought in just to throw the mutants off at the Hellfire Gala, and that she's been working with them for quite some time. And Kate Pryde believes her. What evidence does Firestar have? What possible proof does Firestar have that can convince Kate Pryde of such a ridiculous story? And the truth is, she doesn't need any. The story was the proof that Kate needed, because it sounded like a very on-brand Jean Grey thing to do. This is not something that is unusual for Jean Grey to do with someone whenever there's grave danger. Kate Pryde has been around long enough that she has seen all the tricks that Jean Grey has, more or less. So yeah, she believes everything that Firestar is saying. However, this doesn't change anything for Firestar. And while Kate could have technically killed Firestar at any moment that she wanted to, the truth is that she's not gonna, but that doesn't mean she's not gonna keep coming for Firestar's throat the next time or any time that they see one another, because this is a resistance. This is a clandestine mission. There can be no room left for error. So that is why Kate has basically made it clear she's not going to tell anyone else what Firestar told her. She wants Firestar to tell them herself. And this goes back to the Hellfire Gala event, where Jean Grey said, if you just tell people the truth, live in your truth, say what you need to say, people will believe you. And that is a testament to that. We know that Firestar is going to be going up against Juggernaut very soon, and she will very likely have to say a lot of the same things to him that she just said to Kate. And while I don't know if Juggernaut will be as quick to believe any of it, I'm pretty sure he's been around long enough that he'll be like, yeah, that sounds like Wednesday for the X-Men. But yeah, the reason why Kate isn't telling anyone else is because if the word gets out, if they talk about it, Orcus is going to learn that Firestar is the mole. And they can't risk that, because right now Firestar is embedded so deep, and she is even trusted amongst some of the other members of Orcus that they're just willing to go along with it. But Orcus has eyes and ears everywhere. We see this mentioned earlier when they're talking about Kamala Khan and what she's doing over on the Ms. Marvel, the New Mutant side of things, where Kamala is going to a summer program at the Empire State University campus, and because they are on the lookout for Ms. Marvel now, knowing that she's a mutant, Kamala knows that there are eyes and ears everywhere. If anyone sees her use her powers, if anyone sees her doing any superhero shenanigans on the campus, they're gonna quickly figure out what's going on. They're listening in on people's conversations to learn who is being sympathetic towards mutants and who's not, and then spreading their anti-mutant rhetoric to those who they know are more receptive to get them to engage with mutants and try and harm them in some way. And on the other side, for those they know who won't do it, those who are sympathetic to those mutants, they're gonna try and put them into re-education camps. And for those who don't know what re-education camps are, they're not fun. They're basically a place where you're taken and you are either mentally assaulted or physically assaulted until you change your way of thinking. And no, that is not hyperbole. That said, they have eyes and ears everywhere. So of course, if Kate were to go somewhere and try and tell the other X-Men what's up, they could possibly be risking the entire operation. This is gonna suck for Firestar, because this means she's gonna have to defend herself at every possible turn, and there's always gonna be the possibility that someone is not going to believe her. We already know that Rogue is gunning for her right now, and we'll probably see something more to that effect over on the Uncanny Avengers side of things, also written by Jerry Duggan, so it's very likely to happen over there. Firestar is gonna have to put her hands up, and it's not gonna be fun for her. This is one of those deals where even with Kate says, yeah, I hit you on purpose, even after I believed what you said, because I gotta make it look good. Not to mention, I think Kate just secretly doesn't really like Firestar very much anyway. Even before all the stuff that was going on with the Hellfire Gala and her betraying the X-Men, quotey fingers betraying the X-Men, you know, the whole perception was that Firestar was a cop. And because that was fan perception of Firestar, because, you know, she is a cop, she's an Avenger, she has been just about everything but an X-Man in the past. And Jerry Duggan has openly admitted he took this sentiment about Firestar from the fan base and used it in this story, and making it so that other characters believe the same thing. Now, earlier I did mention Kamala Khan. Now, there's something that comes up during her portion of the story, and I don't know, I wonder if maybe I saw something. There's a character who Kamala Khan encounters, a character who's being attacked by humans for being a mutant, a character who is actually not a mutant. And we don't get the woman in question's name, but when we see her, I'm not gonna lie, while she is a little bit lighter complected than what I am used to seeing this character depicted as, I couldn't help but wonder if that was not Karima Shopendar, aka Omega Sentinel in disguise. Now, I know what some people are probably thinking. Some people are probably thinking, oh, well, no, Omega Sentinel, she can't make herself look normal. And honestly, I would say you might be wrong there. She can actually reformat her body using the nanomachines within herself to make herself look, you know, from a technological standpoint, just about any way that she wants. But it's not out of the spectrum of possibility for people like Omega Sentinel to make herself appear to be normal. I could be overthinking this. This person does say that they have alopecia, which is technically what makes them look like they, quotey fingers, might be a mutant, but I don't trust this girl. And especially considering that Omega Sentinel is the looming major big bad behind the Ms. Marvel, the New Mutant series, yeah, I think this is Omega Sentinel in disguise. As for the rest, we finally get the tease about the big, high-profile Marvel Comics wedding that is on the way, that everyone's been talking about, that everyone has either fallen in love with or grown to hate. I don't know, take your pick. But Marvel is cordially inviting you to click that like button. Clicking that like button is your RSVP to the greatest marriage in the history of comics. Greater than Cyclops and Jean, greater than Spider-Man and MJ, greater than Storm and Black Panther, greater than North Star and Kyle. You hitting that like button, clicking that subscribe button, and tapping that notification bell, so that way you don't miss out on any of my videos breaking down the X-Men as well as other comics from Marvel and DC and wherever else. Not to mention, it's free, so go do it. That said, no, the real marriage here is the marriage between Emma Frost and Tony Stark. This is something I've talked about a great deal. I didn't do a video for last week's Invincible Iron Man, mostly because I wanted to wait and see what was going to go down. But the thing that I had suspected was going to happen and have talked about in my previous videos for Invincible Iron Man is that Emma Frost had signed over the Hellfire Club to Wilson Fisk, and he is the new White King. And really the only major component of last week's Invincible Iron Man is that it's confirmed. And this is something that I've been saying for the past several weeks. So yeah, that's what's going on here. Wilson Fisk is full on the new White King of the Hellfire Club. He no longer likes to be referred to as Kingpin. Yeah, he wants to be referred to as his new moniker. And he's doing this all because the assets of the Hellfire Club, because they are tied to Emma Frost, if something were to happen, if Orcus were to get a hold of her, those assets could technically be taken up by them. But giving these assets over to Wilson Fisk ensures that the Hellfire Club stays separate, and they're also still able to put all their money and power behind fighting back against Orcus. That said, the Hellfire is now probably closer to what it used to be before Sebastian Shaw took it over. The Hellfire Club was mostly just a club for the wealthy elites. It wasn't an exclusively mutant club, and honestly, it's even less mutant exclusive now because Emma Frost is no longer technically a member of the Hellfire Club. She's on the run. She's masquerading as Hazel Kendall, a normal human, not a mutant at all. And what makes all of this even more funny is that Orcus has also infiltrated the Hellfire Club because, once again, it's full of the wealthy and the powerful, and Fei Long is considered exactly that. He is a member of the Hellfire Club. He is literally there right then and there when Tony and Emma are running their game. And Tony right now, he's operating as the Black King of the Hellfire Club thanks to his ties to the club due to his father, Howard Stark, having been a member. This has elevated him in the ranks and also, once again, gives that credence going back to what Destiny said about there being a war between kings in white and kings in black over the death of a Red Queen. And now I'm starting to think, because K Pride doesn't go by that moniker of the Red Queen anymore. She's kind of removed herself from, Hellfire Club shenanigans. She's just largely going solo dolo now, at least in terms of, affiliation. She's technically an X-Man, but she's doing a lot of operating Ronin style. And in this particular instance, I think there's going to be a new Red Queen, and I could easily see Hazel Kendall somehow rising up into this position. Well, granted, yeah, she's just, as far as persona goes, she's a nobody to the wealthy elite. However, she is going to be marrying into the wealthy elite. While I know a lot of the things that people have been saying regarding the wedding of Emma Frost, Iron Man, that's the thing that's not really talked about, is that who he's going to be marrying. And I feel like that's who it's going to be. It's not Emma Frost that's getting married to Tony. It's Hazel Kendall who is getting married to Tony, and maybe that's how she'll work her way into a leadership role within Hellfire, is becoming the new Red Queen. But let's talk about why this is even happening in the first place. The reason why the marriage between Tony and Emma is happening, and once again, this is one of those situations where I've often said this is going to be a marriage of convenience. And while yes, it is a marriage of convenience, it is a marriage of convenience for multiple reasons, not just because Tony and Emma need each other right now, and they need to put their minds together to try and figure out some kind of way to keep Wilson Fisk from throwing the Hellfire Club into even more disarray than what he's going to, but also to help save their friends among the Avengers and the X-Men, because not only is Orchis targeting mutants, they're also going to be going after the Avengers as well, as Tony has learned prior to the Hellfire Gala. So they're trying to save all their friends, and they need to pull their resources together. But also another reason why this is happening is because Fei Long walks in on Emma, who once again right now is under the guise of Hazel Kendall, and Tony and her are fighting because they're arguing about what to do. Emma does not want to just stand by while Fei Long struts around the Hellfire Club. She wants to kill him. She's willing to risk it all to get rid of him. And when Emma takes off the ring, that would normally suppress her mutant capabilities. She knees Tony in the crotch, and he is down on his knees holding that very ring when Fei Long stumbles in and sees them, and Tony just leans into it and says, "Hey, I'm proposing," and we just gotta go from there. Now, it does go a bit deeper than that. I do think there are some genuine feelings there. While there's also some enmity between them, Emma has been spending a great deal of time in Tony's mind, and she's getting to know him in ways that maybe she never got to know him before. And it has been stated and even retconned into existence that Emma and Tony have had multiple meetings prior to the Hellfire Gala, like actual meaningful conversations. But while all that was going on, Emma had either wiped his mind and made it so he didn't remember the conversation, or it manipulated him in some way, shape, form, or fashion. But, she's actually genuinely taking time to see that there's more to Tony than what he puts out there. So, well, yes, it's a marriage of convenience. I think there will actually be some emotion behind it as well. It's gonna be one of those deals where two people marry one another and they're not really into one another, at least not as much as normal people would be who get married. But over time, I feel like they will grow to love each other. And I think that is the more interesting aspect of that. I do remember Jerry Duggan talking about this on the Cerebro podcast, that what is going on between Emma and Tony is very reminiscent of, and even inspired by, his own parents. Two people who maybe didn't necessarily love each other as much as they probably could or should have, but married each other to try and make things work because of the situation that they were in. So yeah, you take that how you want to. Some people will probably think that it's unrealistic. I think it's actually quite realistic. I know too many people who got married who didn't really actually love each other, and for less altruistic reasons. So you take that how you will. That's it. That's everything I really want to talk about with X-Men number 26. If you enjoyed this video, do the YouTube thing, like, share, comment, subscribe. Make sure you tap that notification bell so that way you don't miss out on any of the videos that I put out. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and until next time, let me know what you thought about X-Men number 26. Keep it plus ultra and sound off in the comments.